Eddie want to, no doubt, at some point here.
What is up, people? Eddie Ads here. And Deep Journo, a.k.a. George Webb, and Andy.
What's up?
Can I see your last name, Andy?
Dybala, D-Y-B.
Andy Dybala.
Dybala.
There we are. So, pretty casual chat. We got folks. We're enjoying the late fall, one of our last of the year. And we're going to be discussing pretty casually, informally, the geopolitics of the week. It is election week. Today, I did 2 interviews this week with George from Ireland, one with Shrimp Zoo as well on our pandemic podcast. And of course, we did 2 broadcasts today with George Webb and the whole crew. So we want to thank everybody for tuning into those broadcasts as well. And for joining us on the Fireside chat a la FDR. And here we are, folks. So
real fire, by the way, like a fake computer generator.
It's not a pixelated fire, folks. It's a real wood burning. And we're really clearing out the woods here with the fire, aren't we, folks?
Yep. Yeah, Eddie's been working hard. Eddie and Aaron, they've been digging around back there. I walked out here earlier after the Warrior Spotlight, and I just hear some rumbling going on in the woods, and out pops Aaron, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Just get the fire started. So here we are. We're at the fire. Did you guys watch the World Series last night at all? I know the Bob Linsky interview was going on, and that was some big news, and we'll be getting into that a little bit later. But did you see the big Corona story that happened in the World Series?
No, what's going on there? Andy's our sports guy, so what's going on, Andy?
So one of the stars for the Dodgers beat the Tampa Bay Rays, by the way. I'm a decent baseball guy, so don't really care too much unless the Indians are in it. But go Tribe.
You've got the baseball build there, Andy, the long, lanky build.
I used to have a strong arm back in the day, back when the hips were a little bit more fluid and I could get some action on the fastball. But as I've gotten older, moving more into the intellectual side of things, or at least trying to. But so Justin Turner, superstar for the Los Angeles Dodgers, in the middle of World Series Game 6, he gets pulled from the game because he tests positive for COVID-19 in the middle of a World Series Game 6 game. So they pull him out of the game. The Dodgers, you can't eat.
Andy's like the dark side.
We're getting scary here. The Dodgers end up winning the game. He comes out of the dugout, celebrates with his teammates as he should, and all they're talking about on ESPN, which is owned by Disney, which is part of the fake news networks out there. And all they talk about is how this guy is out here celebrating with his teammates instead of the Dodgers actually winning the championship. And it's actually just, I'm getting sick and tired of the old Corona storyline. This guy's a healthy athlete out there celebrating with his teammates for the last time in the year. And what do you guys think about this? Would you guys go out there in the field and celebrate with your teammates after you won the ship, or would you stay back and be like, I got Corona, I'm just going to hang out in the dugout and twiddle my thumbs?
So George is going to answer, guys. George Webb is here before everybody leaves, and it's like, oh,
like, why is Andy talking so much?
It's just Andy and Ads and Aaron. Nobody cares about those guys. The general is here. He's in the dark, though. He doesn't have the best lighting right now. What do you think, George?
I mean, I think it's pretty contrived, to be honest with you. I mean, how could you go into the game and all of a sudden in the 6th inning, all of a sudden make a diagnosis? That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. If you don't make a diagnosis by game time, you don't make the guy is there or is not. If he's not, you don't have.
It's like an injury.
Exactly.
Yep.
And you don't let him play. And if he's contagious, you don't let him in the dugout. And the thing about this is it's like it's contrived to show that this is irresponsible.
Yeah, that's all they're talking about.
It's irresponsible, you know. And here's a guy who wins the World Series. It's irresponsible. Come on now.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. I just watched football, replay tonight. First, we had to go through all the Black Lives Matter stuff for a half an hour on the football channel. And like, if I wanted to see politics, it's fake news, right? But this is about football, NFL. I turned it NFL. Half an hour about Black Lives Matter and all these people with the police shootings and so forth. Finally, we got to the football. And now we go to the whole.
Aaron, go get that light.
Just the whole thing with the masks and the kneeling and all that, and how listening, and all these people are wearing these things that say I'm still not listening. I'm like, I've listened to all 7 months of this shit.
I'm sick and tired of
CNN fake news bullshit, and who knows what the hell else they're doing with the air filters and shit.
And I just posted on my channel, folks, an excerpt.
George is in here battling the smoke to get through and talk. By the way,
he's also
they'll kill the corona.
Yeah, that was more dangerous what you were doing right there than Justin Turner's teammates celebrating with him on the field.
He's also battling CNN and Donnie O'Sullivan. I posted an excerpt just now, a few minutes ago. Actually, it should have been posted. George Webb is suing his rival over at CNN. George has a rival that he's been kind of battling for, friendly battling, an informational battle. We're in an information war here, people. And George is taking all this potential energy, which has been brewing over the past 4 years or so, and he's turning it kinetic into the court system. And Donnie O'Sullivan, we are coming after you. Well, George is coming after you. Google, we're coming after you, though. YouTube. And George is suing Donnie O'Sullivan and CNN. And we got, thanks to Aaron Adler, we got the light going on fire. Aaron's the wooden man for tonight.
Set it far away.
Oh, there's Andy's face. You can see someone's face besides
Far
mine.
away.
Far away.
There's George, people. He's here in the flesh.
Like right there.
What do you think, George?
I was willing to let it go. I mean, if I was lied to by the informant at Fort Belvoir, then I was lied to by the informant at Fort Belvoir, and I made a mistake. And journalists do make mistakes. Maybe I made a mistake, but they brought out the people in question again tonight for a live interview, and they made it sound like I was a harasser and I had something against these people. They made it sound like I was the one who generated the story that created the 650,000 views. I had 11 witnesses there. I wrote a book about it. We saw that the foreign minister of China, that's a really important, that's a 1.3 million or billion person nation, saying the virus came from the athletes of the United States. Mm-hmm. I went through 111 athletes of all the people who may have produced a compromised performance. Mm-hmm. Okay, all the stories.
These are military athletes.
These are military athletes. I went through all of them, and I covered the folks. There was sick athletes all the way through, and as a reporter, I went through and said, "Hey, if China is going to focus on anybody, they would be focusing on this group of people." And I had another group of people, a doctor at Fort Belvoir, saying they had an out in the September-October timeframe in 2000. Mm-hmm. And this person was the only person out of the 111 people that I could place, and I knew for a fact she worked at Fort Belvoir. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I said, well, what if it's this person? And we were in a workshop, and I wrote the name up in a workshop environment, not trying to hurt anyone. I never wanted any ill things to happen. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of the coronavirus. How did this happen?
Right.
Right. And right now, people are still saying it's a bat.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is what the journalists you would be thinking in the mainstream media
At that
would
time,
be doing.
people were
Yes.
still saying it was a bat that flew, that had bad sonar and flew and hit his head on a beam and it fell and a pig ate it.
That was a saggy bat.
I'm not
Saggy
kidding you.
bat.
I'm not kidding you. It was a bat with bad sonar, and Lee Harvey Fishmonger was the story.
Lee Harvey
And
Fishmonger.
that story went away. So
The fish.
And the great thing about you, George, is your power is amplified by your fans and your chat monsters like me or whatever, you know.
Look at this lighting on Aaron right now.
And we
It looks like a dark
once
lord.
you know, and it was great because it was like there was a virtual effect going on and there was a real world effect because you were at a charrette with, you know, Tim and
11,
Dave and
10,
11 other, you know,
Deborah was
YouTube's
there.
finest hour, right? But then you had the rest of us back, you know, in our respective areas of the world on the chat room.
But
and we were continuing to just
the big idea here is I didn't wish any ill on any athlete. I was an athlete. I don't wish any ill on any athlete. I just want to get to the bottom of the coronavirus. Remember, at the base of this, they said we're going to go to war over this. We're going to go maybe a trade war, maybe a hot war where there's shooting involved. I don't want to do that. I want to figure out how this thing started. I don't want to hurt anybody.
No, we're not about that, people.
They said I did 70 videos of harassing them. I wasn't harassing them. I wanted them to come forward. I put my name out there. I contacted them. They didn't contact me. The first contact I had with them was CNN. Again tonight, they didn't contact me. And then CNN comes at me again tonight with the new people.
You actually had journalistic integrity and used the proper procedures
I don't
that
wanna
you're
hurt
supposed to do
I don't
when
hurt them.
doing an interview.
I like those people. He came on tonight. He said he works for the Pentagon.
I want to say something. George Webb is a journalist. Donnie O'Sullivan is a shill. Okay? There's a difference, guys.
They're not secret. George doesn't go out and secretly record people and secretly videotape you and release stuff online unbeknownst to you. He'll let you know beforehand who he is, beforehand why he's there, and he'll ask you questions if you're willing to answer them, and if you're not, then it doesn't get put out. So there's nothing you could ask for as a journalist when you're on the scene.
Yep, thank you.
you know what people like though. Oh, sorry, you.
Well, I was just going to say, I've said it many times already, but I don't want to hurt anybody. I'm not out to harass anybody. What I'm out is to find the truth. And I believe, here was my motivation, the public has a right to know. We drive up and down these little towns, right, all over here, and you're just one of them, Aaron. You're just yet another one of millions of businesses
Anytown, USA
have been destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Destroyed. The fact that you've kind of landed like a cat on your feet is kind of amazing, but like no income, but you still have to pay the rent, right?
Until YouTube took our money away.
Well, and then you have YouTube promising you keep going, keep getting members, and then keep sending us money, and then all of a sudden
I took the signs down and revamped the whole building. Yeah, I redid the whole feng shui of the building and changed the signage and everything. But
So YouTube used all these citizen journalists and different media outlets on their channel to attract this whole crowd of people that may or may not have been on their app in the first place if it wasn't for these people doing this hard work, and they have the gall to go out there and just pull the rug right out from under you, take the money away, take all the hard work you put into it away, and take your videos and channels down. So you got to make sure you back everything up, and you scrambling to find other websites.
Thank God you saved all the podcasts, and you did all this charity videos and stuff, and all that was destroyed.
I do want to say, if you are YouTube out there, it's very important to have an RSS feed. There's different websites and platforms you can use to get an RSS feed. I like to tell everyone just go to Podbean because it's cheap and easy to use. There's more out there, but make sure you get your RSS feed and own your material.
We get a question here from Spoonful. Okay. Are you going to allege that Donnie O'Sullivan slander caused the deplatforming at YouTube? Are those two different issues there, George?
Yes. What happened in neighborhood news is all these folks, 12 people that came here to do journalism as a safe haven. And Aaron created a safe
space,
space, whatever you want to call it, a sanctuary city, or whatever it is, autonomous zone for journalism. Last place the Constitution is safe. Create your own label, right? My thing with Donnie O'Sullivan goes back 3 years.
Yeah.
It goes back 3 years when I was trying to find the missing uranium. And what they do is, he's getting close to the missing uranium. He's going to talk to all the people who say the uranium's missing. Let's make him the bad guy. Let's make him the wild-eyed white supremacist somehow, even though you got more Cherokee than me. But even though I'm trying to find uranium, I had nothing to do with any story of any port. I want to find the missing uranium. Why are all these people dying?
Where is the missing uranium, folks?
And why are people saying the cylinders are filled, the Worthington cylinders? Why are they saying, which goes back to Sam Bush, George Bush, and Prescott Bush?
Prescott Bush, father of HW.
Why are they saying it's full of drugs from Pakistan? Why are people saying this? And then you got to follow the blood stains. There's 8 people. The person I met with before I was arrested was telling me that this operation that the Rodens were running, remember, 8 murders. That's an unusual situation. I mean, how many people do you even know that have been murdered? An 8-way murder, that's unusual.
Very unusual.
Are you talking about the execution style murders or Piketon, sorry.
But it was in the same town as the missing uranium.
Yeah, so we had the small Midwestern town, and these people were found dead in their house, executed, killed execution style on their knees, and that doesn't happen in the Midwest normally. People
usually it's either drug related or
that's unusual.
Some other type of conspiracy.
It's unusual.
And here's what the person tells. Just like I'm sitting here with you, Andy, the person says it was an industrial drug operation.
Yeah.
Heister trucks, and they had lifts, and it was this huge, monstrous. There's some kind of thing going on there.
Like elephant scales to weigh the drugs.
It was a monster operation. And then I find out from my partner, you getting a bandwidth?
I think we're good. I don't know what's going on, but I don't know what else.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go. I get this message that, hey, my partner's telling me these people are truckers. There's all these overweight trucking tickets, like 70 of them. Okay, and not only that, so that
can you go get the wine inside?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you need wine? Okay.
I don't want.
We're drinking water here.
I'm
people.
I don't have the classy tongue.
This is Addy Ads, Attic and Sky, walking on this fire, which is pretty pathetic right now.
Interrupt the flow right there. No, it's supposed to be a whisper.
No, it's all right. You want wine? It's okay to drink wine. When did it become illegal to drink wine?
I was actually chatting with George Callaghan. George from Ireland this evening. George was drinking wine as I was talking to him. Nothing wrong with drinking wine, people. Nothing wrong with that. Jesus drank wine. Turned water into wine. Supposedly.
I think had some wine one time. Well, anyway, the bottom line is, I didn't go to Ohio to try to railroad anybody. I was talking to people that were dying of plutonium poisoning. About a port in Charleston, right? Which I didn't have anything to do with tweeting out, right? This other person did. Donnie O'Sullivan from CNN. I'm somehow a white supremacist because I want to go and talk to these people that were in a small town that weren't getting in the cylinders, weren't full of uranium. It was full of drugs. And the people who were shipping the drugs with all the overweight tickets are all dead. Okay.
Yeah.
Wagners are also truckers, and they also have a ton of overweight tickets. So it looks like they were both shipping the drugs, and one family got rid of the other family.
The Wagners.
The Wagners. They also raised these championship horses. So they were
wealthy, super wealthy, and well. They're not your average drug dealer.
Anybody who owns horses is someone who has money.
These were championship. Whatever. What is that?
You're talking Bob Bassett.
Aaron, are we getting the wood situation good here?
Yeah, I'm keeping it going. I'm
Okay.
keeping it going.
What kind of
If you need
I'm
some
sticking
help,
around. I'm not going to go anywhere.
What kind of pour was that, by the way?
Jeez, it's over here. Keep sipping.
so this is Fireside Chat live with Addy Ads, Attic, and
I don't know
Skywalker.
why.
Turn that
It's going to pop.
You
real
got to
soon.
turn that
And
thing around.
I'm here with a good chunk of the Motley crew. We got the general is in the building. Aaron Adler is in the building. He's supposedly providing the wood.
I'm enjoying participating in the chat. I usually just sit back and
Andy DeBala.
do the website stuff and update the podcast and stuff. It's good mixing it up a little bit.
There you go. We're getting a little bit of light here.
Yeah.
We get a decent amount of light. And if people want to check out my chats tonight, I did a chat with Shrimpsu and with George Callaghan. George from Ireland, very smart guy, polyglot, and he's very well versed in geopolitics. We don't see eye to eye on everything, but if I were to not talk to people who I didn't see eye to eye on, I wouldn't really be talking to anyone. So keep that in mind, people. I want to check out George and I's chat. Very knowledgeable man about particularly our chat tonight. We talked about the war going on over in Nagorno-Karabakh and the Armenian genocide, the Armenian conflict with the Azerbaijanis, and kind of the background of the geopolitics and the situation that is kinetic over there.
Is the Armenian genocide recognized yet?
Well, it depends on who you ask, Andy. Turkey still has yet to recognize the genocide of the Armenians. Now, granted, the numbers may have been inflated. There's, of course, Turks killed, Azerbaijanis killed during that conflict. That being said, I think it's important we still recognize Armenians as a sovereign nation, and it's important we recognize a genocide when we see one as well. So that's what I want to say about that. And George Callaghan, George from Ireland, also said the same. So,
I personally have never met an Armenian that was not cooler than me. So much respect to all you guys out there.
Karen says, screen is so dark. I'm guessing you were there because I can hear you. Audio is number one,
You guys
folks.
have to be able to see us. This is look at this
Look at this guy's face. You see this guy's face?
I was going to talk about yours.
Do you want to set the camera on this table here?
No, set the light on that table. I would say, if anything.
So this
And
is
shine
late
towards you
night,
guys? It's gonna blind
late
you.
night fireside chat with Addy Ads, Andy DeBala, and Aaron Adler, and of course the incomparable, the general, George Webb, is on a bathroom break.
So just
folks.
in general,
Stay tuned.
who do you? I know Addy Ads. I don't even know if you noticed, but you were in my office earlier, and you did your interview with George from Ireland with the Trump flag hanging in the background. I'm actually, I know I've hung around you and stuff. I feel like you don't lean left or right, kind of like me. You're just kind of anti-corruption and just kind of a truther out there.
Yeah,
Who do you think's going to win the election? Biden or Trump, and how close do you think it's going to be?
That's a good question, Andy. Who do I think will win the election? Well, all I can share is my experience, right, people? I've been earlier this year, I was living in Eugene, Oregon. I then moved to Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
That's not good.
I then traveled to Maryland on the East Coast. I've been to Illinois, Michigan, Ohio, New York. I was out there in New York and Buffalo with Shrimpsu. So I've been to a decent number of states throughout this year of 2020, Pacific Northwest.
Just in 2020 alone, you've hit all those?
Yes, sir.
That's impressive. So you've really gotten a good vibe of where the country is kind of at. And
I think so. I mean, a decent grasp of it, I would say. I mean, I've been Pacific Northwest, Midwest, East Coast a little bit. In terms of masks and restrictions of masks, Maryland was the strictest that I encountered. As far as the election goes, I think Trump definitely, I've seen the most Trump signs, more so than Joe Biden. So
whatever he just did to the smoke is relentless.
Yeah, Aaron just set the smoke on us here, so I'm dodging it a bit here, people. But subjectively, I have seen way more Trump signs. The people I've talked to, again, it could be somewhat of a survivorship bias, insofar as a light echo chamber, shall we say. It seems to me that more people are supporting Trump. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean that that's objective, right? So,
Yeah.
I do want to say that I think that of the Trump voters and of the Biden voters, more Trump voters are keeping their lips sealed as to who they are voting for in reality. Now,
That's what like I pretty much think. If you don't know who that person is voting for, it pretty much means they're voting for Trump. Because in general, that's what a conservative is. It's someone that's not out there spouting their viewpoint, just letting every Joe Schmo on the street know what they think about the world. So a conservative naturally is going to keep to themselves, and they're voting for Trump pretty much. So yeah, I think you're right about that.
Can I
No. So Addie, let's do this. Just me.
what's up,
you,
George?
Just me, you, and Andy. Okay.
Okay.
As far as the camera. So
Oh, I'll come over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So
good.
this is the extent of the camera range.
Yeah, I like that. But I was gonna say with the Bob Elinsky, the smoke's getting us.
Yeah, whatever you did, it's
Since
falling
we're-
more.
yeah, sorry.
You think you put the I don't know. Actually, the
Oh,
chair
it's
would be
that,
black.
That like weedy chappy stuff.
Get to the answer.
Go ahead, Aaron.
The Bob Elinsky story, right? Let's talk.
Wait
Bob
a
Elinsky.
second. You got to answer.
What was? Well, who's gonna win the election?
And by how much?
600 lawyers are going to win the election, and then 600 other lawyers are going to come in and say they won the election, and it's going to be 3 years from now, and there's going to just continue to be this mash of lawyers fighting another mash of lawyers while the country devolves into complete land of the lawyers. You know, if you want a prediction.
You guys think
I'm
there's
not
going to be
joking.
riots no matter what?
I don't know if riots would be the answer other than just
No,
like,
that's not what I asked.
Oh.
Do you think there's going to be riots no matter what?
yes, absolutely.
What about you, Andy?
I do not actually.
Okay, yeah, expand.
I don't. I think there's
Expound.
if anyone's gonna riot in this case, I don't think Antifa and all them are gonna be out there. Like, they're gonna do what they've been doing pretty much. They're gonna have these little spurts every 3 months where they try to hit the mainstream news cycle, and that's when they try to create some active just where they're busting up the buildings, and some they're just trying to get on the news cycle pretty much, BLM. And if anyone's going to riot after the elections, if it's pretty much if Joe Biden wins. I think there's going to be a lot of I wouldn't call it rioting, but I will call it severe protesting by the conservative Republicans.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think they'll be
That's an
out
interesting
there.
take.
You'll see a lot of like what happened in Michigan when Whitmer banned the businesses and the interactions with the people during the coronavirus. You'll see like some storming of the Capitol like that if Biden wins. But if Trump wins, I think the mainland Democrats have kind of already accepted that Biden's not going to win for the most part. So it's just going to be like a normal day. But if the paid rioters get out there, that's just going to be like the normal status quo. And we don't know. These people have been throwing their money around a lot. So if they have a bunch of money left over to keep paying the rioters and keep this stuff going,
Soros.
We'll see.
I was talking about Soros last night with Aaron, and I don't know. What do you think, Aaron? You're of this land. This is your stomping ground. What would you say locally is the leaning point?
In this community here in this township, it would be Trump, I would say.
Okay.
Probably 70-30.
Okay.
Maybe more than
But
that.
this county is probably more of a 60-40, 55-45, 51-49. The county could go either way. The state is obviously another 51-49 situation in this county, Monroe County, where
the Midwest people. This is America. This is God's country, and this is this is the land of the free, home of the brave, and this is where the election is going to be won
Swing State
or
Studios.
lost. Swing State Studios, Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Nebraska, Wisconsin. These are all the states that both parties are rallying. They're trying to get their supporters out. They're trying to win those. There's a very small demographic of people who are still undecided. And I think that's very interesting. Why are they so undecided? I love to think about that. But these people are that's the target market, and they're in the Midwest. And that's where Trump is going for, and that's where Biden's going for. The East Coast and the coast, right? The metrosexual coast, as Peter Duke says, they're mostly decided, right? So, with the exception of Florida, right? The classic Florida situation. So, a la 2000.
Here's what we probably can influence, and I will tell you, even though we're in a swing state, I could think of 20 different Joe Jorgensen signs that I've seen, and I need to implore people
Who's
there
that? So sorry.
You really don't know Joe Jorgensen?
No,
She's a libertarian candidate. For those who don't know,
if you're in New York or California and you like Trump, but you want to make a statement, you can take my Joe Jorgensen vote and you can do Joe Jorgensen.
What do you mean by my Joe Jorgensen
just whatever,
vote?
I mean, you know how they did that like vote exchange years ago? People would like call up a random person in another state and be like, well, I want this person and you want that person, so we're gonna vote swap or whatever that crazy thing was.
I didn't know that was
that was
thing.
a little scam they played for years that didn't get much traction because everybody realized how ridiculous it is. But more so, I'm just joking that, like, please, if you're in Michigan or Ohio, don't prove your point this year with Joe Jorgensen. We all agree with you.
2024.
We want third parties.
Yes.
We want fourth parties and fifth parties. And we want this whole robust democracy to flourish. And it's going to be wonderful. And Joe Jorgensen and her Libertarian Party have a beautiful future in our hearts. But right now, just don't pull don't get cute. Don't get cute here, Michiganders, Ohioans, Wisconsiners.
My libertarians out there, we gotta wait. We gotta wait till at least 2024. So, you know, it's when you think about strategy in the long term, tactics in the short term, and you're a libertarian, I'd recommend voting for Trump now, 2024. Then vote for Joe Jorgensen or whoever the libertarian candidate is. And this is something I was talking about with George from Ireland tonight, actually, the need for more parties in the United States. Country of 330 million people, give or take, and we have two parties. It's kind of absurd when you think about it. So that's the point I wanted to make with my discussion tonight.
Well, we do have two parties, but we definitely have two political candidates that are like kind of the extreme of their parties at this moment.
In a way, yeah.
Like Joe Biden is a Democrat, but he's not he's like an old school Democrat and stuff. He's not this super left, like Bernie progressive. And Trump, some would say, was a Democrat like 15, 20 years ago and has flipped over to a Republican.
Yeah.
Just because he thought he could win the ticket a lot easier. So
he was right.
Like, we're in this weird little middle ground with each party anyway. So if we're going to start expanding our experiment here in the democracy, I think the next time around in 2024 would be a good time to do it.
Yeah, definitely. We should at least wait until then. But right now, unfortunately, unless you're in a state like Aaron was saying that is decidedly left or right, blue or red, examples being California, New York.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in that case, you know, you can vote for Joe Jorgensen if you like, and I would, in fact, even maybe encourage it because of our desire and the need for multiple parties, more than two parties within the U.S. political system. But if you're in the Midwest, I would implore you to vote for Donald Trump. Or if you want to think about it this way, don't vote for Joe Biden. So you got to look at the facts, people. CCP, Blackberries, Bob Ulinsky, Jeff Epstein, all these people. DNC.
Can I make a Bob Ulinsky bullshit call here?
I was going to say, either way, with whoever wins the election, that says, I say us, because I group myself with George and Addie now. So us as citizen journalists.
Andy's
You're a journal.
Andy
Yeah,
citizen journalist.
yeah, I guess I talk on YouTube videos and other type of videos, but you need to keep the path and stay on the trail and not lose sight of the corruption at hand, because energy is at stake, and our that's pretty much what George likes to get at when he's talking about all these things. When he's going to the pipelines and he's talking about fracking, when you're talking about the ports, when you're talking about the money exchanges, it's all just an exchange of energy if you get down to it. And we got to control that, and for as much as we can. You don't want to hoard it all to yourselves, but I guess the world's heating up. The carbon's on the rise.
The carbon?
I guess we are.
Don't show me.
We are carbon, so what's it matter anyway? But we just got to make sure we're in control of our energy, whether it be nuclear, fracking, oil, coal, whatever the future, or solar power, whatever the future beholds. We got to make sure we're at the forefront of that, and just take care of ourselves.
Well, let's talk liquid natural gas.
Liquid natural gas.
Let's talk LNG here, team.
LNG.
Let's get serious, right? More so, even, I just want to call out another aspect of the Bobby Linsky bullshit.
Okay. Go for it.
In terms of, like, one of the big crescendo climax moments in the Bobby Linsky story is this phone call, right? Where, like, Bobby Linsky's telling his story, you know, and then they cut to this phone call there with that Parker guy, you know, and Parker goes, "You're going to bury us all, man." You know, and it's like a 4-second clip. And every news station, every time I hear it, you know, it's like, it's presented as this big, like, we got you moment. And this big, you know, we got you moment and everything. And it's just like, I think it's fake. I think it's a manufactured phone call that either they, you know, are co-conspirators and it's like, hey, let's do this little phone clip and give it to, you know, Fox News. I don't know per se exactly how that's facilitated, how, you know, Steve Bannon, you know, chops up his audio clips. If he does that himself, or maybe he has somebody do that for him.
I'm sure he
like,
has somebody do it for him.
You think I don't know how many conspirators do you want to get in on the story, right? But like, to me, that's a throw audio clip.
There's no way Steve Bannon knows how to chop up.
Either way, it's just like, you know, the fact that this whole story and all these liquid natural gas ports and all these things that we know when we look at the Belton Road and the pearls in the Belton Road and all that, and then, like, you know, because there's a phone call with a guy saying, "You're gonna," what does he say? "You're gonna fry us all, man," or "You're gonna bury us all, man." You know, and it's like, oh, there it is. Joe Biden can't be president now because some guy on a phone call said you're gonna bury us all. You know, don't look at the ports. You know, don't look at the natural gas acquisitions and the 10% here and there and everywhere. So it's just, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, you know, please somebody tell me I'm wrong and call me out and say that my analysis is wrong, because I'm not sure. You know, this is a theory in a way that, like, man, I really don't like the sound of that phone call. It doesn't seem organic to me. Mm-hmm. And the way it's presented with this little tiny clip doesn't seem organic to me. What do you think, Addie? I mean, like, you think it's real?
I want to say this. I don't trust Joe Biden. I don't trust the Bidens. As far as the phone call, Aaron, I'm not sure. Bobby Linsky is, you know, he's dirty, I think. But that being said, he is trying to, you know, make the Bidens look bad in a way which, you know, you do have to look at, you know, cui bono, who benefits, right? The Departed, Alec Baldwin's character, I think he's the head of the regular police. And then there's, you know, Frank Costello, the gangster. And then you got Martin Sheen, who's head of the snitches or the undercovers. Cui bono is the question, though. Who benefits
from these
transactions? And I think that's the question that is really a fallback for
The purveyors of liquid natural gas in China and
people who want to find out what's going on, right? When you look at conditional versus unconditional, there's always a condition, right? There's always a win-win or a lose-lose, occasionally win-lose, right? So I think that should be taken into account. But there you have it, folks. That's our fireside chat. I don't know if we have.
Turn it all the way.
Do we have any final thoughts here, Aaron, before we sign off?
I was going to do a Marissa Tomei impersonation from White Men Can't Jump. It's probably better I don't do that.
Don't know who that is.
You don't know that movie,
I'll do a Woody Harrelson Duncan.
Sometimes when you win, you really lose. And sometimes when you lose, you really win. You don't know that one.
That was actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'm actually slightly.
Oh, that's great. I can be a Marissa Tomei in her underwear with Woody. Play. But I don't know. We'll have to show you that movie too. The White Men Can't Jump. You don't know that movie, White Men Can't Jump?
I actually do know that movie. Woody Harrelson and don't tell me Wesley Snipes, right? Mm-hmm. Wesley Snipes. White Men Can Jump. Right here, Aaron Adler.
I'm not one of those white men who can jump.
He can catch the football though.
You know, I will say one thing about our fearless leader, General George, that he taught me about his basketball career, because I asked him if he used to dunk on people.
He did.
And then, he had some dunks.
Of course.
But when he played ball, that was pre the invention of the 3-point line.
Oh,
they brought the 3-point line in, I guess, later on. So he wasn't out there, drilling.
George was like a Tim Duncan. He was like he's the big fundamental.
2 years after 1 year after I graduated.
Okay.
1 year, yeah. Well, so you never had to practice your 3-point game.
Alford was the big 3-shooter in '84 for IU. So I know it happened sometime between 82 and 84. I graduated in 82. Yeah.
All right, folks. We are going to take the rest of the night to enjoy to ourselves.
Beautiful fire here. Beautiful fall evening.
We hope that you do the same.
Aaron's disappointed. He wanted to do a call-ins.
No. This is good. This is good. We did something.
Dude,
it's election season, and we have a great camaraderie with our group of researchers and journalists that we are just continuing every day to build more, team spirit and rapport. And it's good to just keep connecting and giving the people an opportunity to sound off and be together. And that's all we're doing here. It's
election week, people.
We'll be back tomorrow. Elections.
I give neighborhood.
Yeah, go for it, Andy DeBala.
So Neighborhood News Hour, go to nnhour.com.
NN Hour. You do the NNH Hour. It's one H.
NNHOUR.com. And you can find all your George Webb news there. And you can also go to Brand New Tube. The link will be at the website.
I'll put it in the description box later, too.
We got Twitch. I started that. And we'll be coming at you at Neighborhood News Studio on YouTube coming soon. So once a live chat gets approved.
Thanks for joining us on the Fireside Chat, people. We'll see you all tomorrow. Stay frosty, folks.
Compound searches compounding.